Hello, everyone, and welcome to this show today. It's so great to see you, Brian and Claudia and Elisa and Emily. It's great that you can join me here today. So, um, well, and everybody who's watching, please feel free to comment and chime right in because we also love to hear from you. So we are here today to show a video called Fire Pit Project. And I have here with me, all of us participated in that project. So we're just going to give you a little background information before we air the video. And I think Elisa is going to talk a little bit about how this project was different for us because of the in-person aspect, right, Elisa?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the great things about 40 Plus, Jane, is that you continue to, this entire past year, all the way through the pandemic, we've been meeting and working on dances and mostly videotaping them at home. And this was the first dance where the filming was entirely outdoors. And so it was wonderful. Well, it was wonderful to see everyone, first of all, and to be there together in person. That was really great. It was like a celebration. And then this particular piece was so much fun that I really enjoyed doing it, moving around the different locales, the musicians. There were so many other things I know you're going to talk about that made this piece very special. Finally, to mention that, Jane, you were our choreographer, because I've been with 40 Plus, I think, more than 2 years now, maybe 3. We've had lots of members of the company do wonderful dances for us, and they've always been terrific and fun. This was the first time since I've been in the group that you choreographed the dance, and so that was special too.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. I'm going to jump back to your one comment, though, about the music, and I'm going to let Emily fill everybody in about the music because it's really special part of this whole undertaking.
Yeah, so I live in Alcova Heights, and that's where we did the filming of these several small pieces. And one of the pieces, there was a clarinet quartet that played it for us. And the kind of leader of that group is Marty Gold, who's one of my neighbors here in Alcova Heights. And we have worked with him. Jane Franklin Dance has worked with him a little bit before, and I've worked with him as a solo artist some before. So I said to Jane, since we're doing this in Alcova Heights, maybe we can get Marty involved. And so she reached out to him, and he had this piece in mind that he wanted to play. And so he got 3 other clarinetists to get involved, and we had just a beautiful piece of music to work with. I know that wasn't the only piece that we worked with, but that was the one that I was able to get in on.
Right. And I know Claudia maybe wanted to talk a little bit about the whole outdoor neighborhood aspect as well.
Yes, it was wonderful to do something, close by. I could bike share there, and to use the volleyball net, and the pre-COVID, post-COVID theme was a lot of fun. Like I said, being with my fellow dancers and outside in the neighborhood. I took my kids to that playground a lot when they were growing up. It was just so much fun.
Yeah. And Brian, I wanted you to talk a little bit about the whole COVID fire pit theme.
Well, if you didn't have a fire pit for COVID, you either got one or maybe your pod people had one, and you spent maybe a lot of time around the fire. We had a fire pit before, but we definitely had a lot more backyard fires in 2020, and we had a pod family, and so we would just come over, and it was just a nice space to be. You could be outside. There was always kind of like it was kind of like it was something interesting to do. So it did have kind of like a party aspect, especially if you could have s'mores, which we would try to do with my smaller kids. And I did make that comment to Jan when after we did the fire pit at her house, she had those ginormous round marshmallows. I said, if you ever need the s'mores, they do make square marshmallows, the perfect size of graham crackers. So I said, if you ever do this again, I was like, here's your fire pit tip. Get the square marshmallows because they just fit really nicely. And also, instead of Hershey bars, if you get those Reese's Minis, those thins, then you have like chocolate peanut butter in your s'mores. So those are my two like fire pit tips for everybody.
Nice. Love that. Awesome.
Indeed. Those are great tips for a fire pit. I think that just kind of brings us around full circle, and we just got to watch this video, right? It's just going to be seen here. And I see a few comments popping up, and we'll get to those. But I think first we'll go ahead and play the video. And I hope you enjoy our fire pit party coming to you from Alcova Heights. Okay, I'm bringing everyone back on.
Yay.
Jane, it was so nice. You put it together so beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much.
I agree. That was really nice.
Fantastic camera work.
Yeah, it was
Thank
beautiful.
you. My first shout out goes to Jan Canterbury, this was actually her idea. Jan's a board member and also one of the founding members of Building Bridges in Arlington, which does a lot of work with connecting various communities. And one of Jan's ideas, especially during this COVID time, was the idea of people coming together outdoors over fire pits. And so it was very easy to act upon this idea, especially right now. And I think we all really greatly appreciate Jan and all she did for bringing this idea out as a wonderful way for us to be together. So if you have a neighborhood and you want a fire pit, you know who to come to. But I'm wondering, I'd like to hear a little bit more from the performers, and I'm sure everyone else would as well. Do you want to talk about how it was dancing outside? And anybody can just take this one. Anybody?
Well, as you can tell from the video, it was a beautiful day, and that helped a lot. So it was fun to be out there for so long.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how lucky we were because we did it that weekend, and then all the other weekends have been kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had these sort of not typical venues like a volleyball, a volleyball pit and the fire pits, of course. I think that made it more interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, that volleyball court is used just by whomever, it's just a neighborhood park volleyball court. And there actually had been some people playing on it just up until we were ready to film. So we got lucky in that way too.
Yeah.
And, it was interesting because Jan, who we talked about, whose idea this was, she also had an idea that we would speak a little bit to our feelings around the pandemic about how, it was a little dark at times. And then like eventually as people started to get vaccinated, start to, do better with social distancing and wearing masks, that, we could kind of come out of our shell and get more social and get a little bit more interaction with folks. And so it was a little more joyful. So I took that idea onto the volleyball court, using the back half as the sort of sad, more like this is awful, section. And then when I pull a volleyball net up and have people come through, that sort of represents how we are hopefully starting to feel now, with a little bit more freedom and joy.
Yeah, and I'm just
the weather that day. I was gonna say the weather that day also, and as Elisa was saying, felt really nice to be there. And as a graduate of the company into the 40 plus, it was nice to see Emily, and then I danced with Colleen and Peg before, but when I was in the company, so it was nice to kind of be able to join them and to be able to, and it was just a nice day and I was just. It just felt really nice to be dancing and to be able to do that with people.
Great. I'm just writing, you'll see this little comment right underneath Brian from Colleen, who was a cast member, sending her regards. And here's some more from Kelsey, comment about the square,
I hadn't heard
square marshmallows. A little show comment there. Andy, it looks like, is watching. It's true. I mean, it was a perfect setting, Emily. I'm so glad that it just happened to be there by your house.
Yeah, we got really lucky with that.
And we planned the ice cream truck. We paid him to come at that particular time. That was fun.
When they got Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Emily.
I was going to say, the ice cream truck is there a lot on nice days. And so I was thinking to myself, wow, it's a beautiful day. And we're going to have La Cucaracha playing in the background. So I was joking around with the clarinet players. I was like, do y'all La Cucaracha or, Frere Jacques, because that's what's going to be happening.
Yes, and it's a funny story because thank you, Philip, for that nice comment. Actually, when I was putting together the video, I ended up, what would you say, outsourcing La Cucaracha from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because I didn't use the one I picked up with my camera. So just one of those things. Oh, here we got Susanna, another cast member joining us. And thank you, Roger, for your nice comment. All right, great. And just to let you all know, this piece is already up on our Vimeo on Demand page. I'll run the banner under here. If you would like to rent or purchase it to download, it is on Vimeo on Demand, which you can get to through our website. Also, and if you feel like you would rather not purchase it but share it with friends online, it is available on our Facebook show as our Facebook Live page. It's there anyway, it'll be there. So you can always direct people to that page as well. And here's a nice comment from Nan Morrison. Nan is a visual artist who works at Columbia Pike Artist Studios. And I owe these folks a video because I interviewed them earlier, but that project with them has been pushed back. So it's coming. It's coming next. And one more little comment here from Susanna. So Emily, I'm just going to ask you one more thing about the musicians, and then anybody else can chime in as well. The musicians, have you done anything else with them in the neighborhood?
I haven't done anything else with them in the neighborhood, but Marty, who was playing the bass clarinet, the very large bass clarinet at the end, he and I did a piece together that we performed at the Army, on the Army base, because Marty is in the Army band. Sorry, having trouble with words. And he had a performance that we could get in on there. And so it was Arlecchino. So it was a very intricate clarinet piece. And I actually performed, I danced, but I was also sort of clowning.
I saw that.
So we had a really, we had a really good time with that.
Great.
Yeah, I saw it as well. It was great.
That was
and then
fantastic.
Susanna's comment here, what was the last piece of music? Well, I've been a collector of free source music for many years, or open source music, Creative Commons music. And this one is called Final Boss, the music part of it. But it's also, which for those of you who don't know, Final Boss is in like the video games, the very last level. And then I combined it with some sound effects that was a fire at the end. And this was the piece of music. I actually put it together several years ago. I just happened to have it and I thought it was a good fit. And I think, Emily, you remembered this piece of music from several years ago.
I did.
And Brian, this was after you left the company, but we had done something that, we had sticks and everything on stage. So the fire pit was almost there at that stage.
That's right.
But we definitely had the sound effects for the fire and all that. So anyway, gee, what else? What else should we talk about?
Can we talk a little bit about the upcoming 40 Plus project?
Oh, yes. Perfect timing. Emily, for you to bring that up, because Emily is choreographing this next project and she wants to spread this message because it was something she did, I think, from last year.
Yes. So last year at the very beginning of the pandemic, we were supposed to start my 40 Plus project, in person, and kept kind of pushing it back because nobody kind of really knew what was going on, with the pandemic and when we'd get back to indoor things. So we finally decided to do it on Zoom, and that was brand new for me. So we were all in our own homes, and we put together this piece with hula hoops. People came and picked them up. All the participants came and either picked them up or I dropped them off at their houses, and we put it together in our homes. And then Jane edited a video together of what we had done. But it was meant to be performed live eventually. And so that's what we're working towards this spring. I'm going to bring back that material, and we'll actually perform it live. It's going to be live streamed, but the dancers will be dancing live. So outdoors, safely distanced, but we're going to be, whenever we can, rehearsing outside. When it's inclement weather, we'll do a Zoom rehearsal. But we're starting this Tuesday, and I think it's 11:30 to 12:30. And it's actually going to be in the park in my neighborhood. So if you're interested, the information is on janefranklin.com. And it's a very, very fun piece of music. It's very joyful choreography. And there's going to be like something new as well. So if you did this before, you can look forward to revisiting it and adding something new. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. I am too, as well. And the event that Emily mentioned, this thing is going to go right across our faces. So please excuse that. But there it is. Our season-ending fundraising event is going to be called, in the style of Saturday Night Live, Live from a Parking Lot. It's JFD. And we will be there for you. And
Is it going to be funny like SNL?
No, there's always an element of that. Whether we intend it or not, that's sometimes what happens.
We'll see what we can do, Claudia.
Right.
Yeah, Emily has the clown background, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing that we have as far as fundraising coming up, we did open a page with Spring to Action. That's Alexandria's Giving Day. That'll be April 28th. But we've done several projects at the Athenaeum in Alexandria this year, and also have been very active with ACPS schools, after school link clubs. So if you'd like to contribute, that's another way to do so. Although, there's, we have an ever handy donate button. So whenever the mood is in the strike, it strikes you, any donation, large or small, is greatly appreciated. And I just want to mention this other event we have coming up. You saw a preview of it earlier. It's a show we are doing a live broadcast from Fred Schneider Art Gallery in Arlington. And I'm very excited for this show because it is not going to be a Zoom webinar. We are broadcasting directly to YouTube from OBS Studio. So the quality is super, super nice. So I hope you can tune in if you are free next Saturday. And anything else anyone would like to add before we check off for today?
Thank you, Jane. How was the editing and all that? Did it take you hours and hours and hours?
It always takes some time. And there's always little things that you forget and you see later. And to make a long story short, it's just like writing or anything else. You can keep changing it forever. You know what I mean? So at certain point, you just say, okay, I've made this decision. I'm going to stay with it. I am kind of detail oriented and like to tinker anyhow. So I sometimes have to warn myself off of that and take a look at it the next day. But it's fun too.
It was beautiful, beautiful.
And it was lovely. Yeah.
And you did a really good balance of close up and far away.
And it was such a nice day. I think we were so lucky to have the weather. We just had just Kelsey, I'll show this comment just because I think it's a great one. And I don't know when it happened. So.
The SNL one.
Oh, yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of people involved in that show that's on May 22nd. Should be a lot of fun, and hope to reprise some of our other works that we've done earlier during the year of COVID. So anyway, well, look for the video on Facebook Live or find it through our Vimeo on Demand page. And we can't wait to see you next time. And I guess on that note, let's see, we can take it out with, I'll just show you how different the weather was. Because this was a video we made, a rehearsal video that I did the Wednesday before our event, because the weather was very dark and gray and cold, and we just so lucked out on that Sunday. It's hard to believe. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. It was wonderful to put all this together and to have this chance to get it out there into the neighborhood. So thanks so much, and we'll see everyone soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Bye.
Thanks for giving me a thing again.